Go.
Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Web 2.0 tools, some of the differences between Web 1.0 and the differences between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. It used to be, when we talked about working on the computer or in the internet, that we had a lot of software that was involved, and students worked in isolation. They sat at their computer monitor, they put a CD in, they watched a film or a video, but they were all alone. But in today's society, we can do things differently. We can use our Web 2.0 tools, and students can now work collaboratively. Students today are a different kind of breed than they were. One of the struggles that they have is that in the classroom, it's in public school, private education, we like to teach from the 1950s. We still like to use a lot of things where they have to use textbooks, they're writing research papers, they're handing those in, they're taking tests on paper. But we would really like to get students to be more involved in a paperless society. They are used to emailing each other, they play video games, they collaborate on the internet. These are our digital natives. They know what they're doing digitally. It's unlike the teachers that they are having today that are digital immigrants that are coming into society at a different time, a time span where all of these tools were not available. And we need to meet the needs of those students. And one of the ways to do that is to use our Web 2.0 tools. When we talk about students that are digital immigrants, we are talking about students that have grown up with technology. When they came into the world, we already had DVD players, they had internet access, they had instant messaging, email accounts. They were able to do all of these things. It's been difficult for teachers along the way because we didn't grow up with these things. There are teachers today that can remember the onslaught of television. And television was a new concept, black and white television. They even had the colored television was a new concept to them. So we are struggling as teachers to try to meet those needs of the students. These new students, this new breed that's come in that know all of the ins and outs of the internet and Web 2.0 tools. Today's society, 71% have web access. Americans 13 to 24, they now spend more time online than they do in front of the television. 70% of YouTube's registered users are American. 50% are under 20. They communicate with friends through instant messaging, download music to their iPods and MP3 players. They hang out on MySpace, they surf the web, and they meet their friends online. These are very social creatures. They want to interact with others, and they don't want to work in isolation. Learners today, they're setting trends with their use of technology, both in school and out of school. They're innovative users of technology, adopting new technologies to support their learning and their lifestyles. Today, we have what we call subscription websites. Students can go online, they can work together on a particular internet site, they can meet people all across the country, all across the world. Once a year, students across the country and across the world get to participate in something called World Math Day. World Math Day sets up an internet website once a year where students can go through math problems. They can play other students from China, Argentina, the Soviet Union, anywhere, and they can participate with people far beyond the walls of their individual schools. This particular website, the Partnership for 21st Century Skills, is a great website if you want to learn more about some of the different Web 2.0 tools that are available for students today. Okay, this is a great chart that shows the differences between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. Web 1.0, application-based. Students worked in isolation. Students were offline, working with computer software, much of which was licensed or purchased. They were single creator. One person used the software at a time, and also copyrighted content. Web 2.0, web-based, collaborative. Students are working together and gaining knowledge from each other instead of just a singular knowledge base. They're online, it's free. Many of the websites are open source, multiple collaborators, and students are able to share content and engage with each other. Okay? This is a great chart that kind of shows you the difference between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. Initially, 250,000 sites, but if you look here, it's 80 million sites that are available today for students to use. And actually, just looking at this population here, this was 1996, 2006, the difference in people that are using the internet in a 10-year span. Okay. Differences in the way organizations have interacted with customers on the web. Here you have a customer, transaction, and feedback. But in Web 2.0, look at the number of people that are being reached in society today compared to doing things initially with Web 1.0 tools. Okay? And this, you can see, is a very complicated chart of all the various elements that go into the web's next generation. This is a huge means of internet transportation that students can use. We've got blogs and wikis and voice over IP, podcasting, filtering, sharing, social search, collaboration, lots of different things that students are able to access today compared to where they were just 10 years ago. Okay? Is it old wine, new labels, or just new labels? Well, I think the answer to that is a combination of things. We're just really redesigning, maybe reinventing the wheel a little bit. If you think about school initially, students had individual slate boards that they used. They had slate, they had a sock that they erased. So if the teacher wanted student response for every student, every child had a slate board, they wrote down 3 plus 4 equals 7, they held the slate board out, and the teacher had automatic feedback as to what the student was doing. Today, we have electronic student response systems. They look very much like a remote control. Students, you're still getting the same principle, the same basic elements of teaching. It's just that it's a new way of doing things. They can use their cell phones, for instance. You still can get an automatic response by setting up a GCast. Students are just using new tools that are available to them today and the internet. They're still putting down their answers into something that can be held in their hand. They're sending those on. They can all be calculated on one board or one projection such as this one, and the teacher can get the same kind of feedback that they got before, except that we're using some of the new Web 2.0 tools. So in some cases, it is just a new label for the same thing. But in other cases, it's different. They are still interacting the same way, but unlike in the one-room schoolhouse that we used to have, and they had 20 children that had 20 answers to the question, they now can share their answers with children, with students, adult learners all over the whole world. They have that collaborative piece that was not available to them before. Now the next generation, that we'll have are really Web 3.0 tools. And this is really just a maturity model of where we may be going in the future as far as our web tools are concerned. And I just kind of wanted to show this just for a second so that you could get a feel of where we're headed. But I still want to stay focused on the Web 2.0 tools that we have today.
Can we pause it?
Yeah.
Sorry. I got it.
He's got it.